Pauline Books and Media presents Hope, Always, Our Anchor in Life's Storms, written by Kris Frank, narrated by Vinnie Angelo. For my wife, Grace, you truly are amazing. Forward. The human person can survive only about 3 weeks without food. Though working on a college campus makes me wonder if some of my students can survive more than 3 hours. Water is even more important for human survival. We can only live for a few days without water. And then there's oxygen. Without oxygen, we can only survive for a few minutes. But believe it or not, there's something even more essential to human life than food, water, or oxygen. Hope. We can't live a moment without hope. Not one moment. The human heart demands and longs for hope. We need hope to be fully alive and to live a life full of purpose, promise, peace, and joy. Sadly, however, many people live without this balm for the soul, which is so unfortunate because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't help that many people confuse the virtue of hope with a desire or want. We often hear people say things like, "I hope the weather is nice on our vacation," or "I hope I get that job." While we use the word hope in these instances, we don't really hope for or in these things. We might want the weather to be nice on our vacation, and we might even pray for that intention, but is our hope really in a vacation? Or we might desire that job, but should we really hope in it? St. Paul tells us that hope does not disappoint. Romans chapter 5, verse 5. But how does that work? So often, people's hopes are disappointed. However, when we experience disappointment, it's because we didn't have a clear understanding of hope. We didn't know where or in whom to place our hope. We need only look at today's world to see the consequences of many lives lived without real, authentic hope. Anxiety, frustration, addiction, confusion, angst, all this and more can come from a lack of real hope. For this reason, Kris Frank's book on the topic of hope is so timely and important. In it, he does an excellent job illuminating our profound need for hope. He points out that true hope is found in Jesus Christ and in Him alone. Hope anchored in God's love gives purpose and meaning to our lives. We all long for this kind of hope, the hope that brings light and reminds us that God is who He says He is. The hope that confirms that our present struggle is not the end. This is the only kind of true hope that will not disappoint. Today's world so profoundly needs to know the source of our hope. So I encourage you to begin reading this book right away. There's not a minute to lose. Father Dave Pivonka, Third Order Regular of St. Francis, President, Franciscan University. Chapter 1. Hope. Hold fast to the hope that lies before us. This we have as an anchor of the soul. Hebrews chapter 6, verses 18 through 19. On July 4th, 1952, Florence Chadwick set out to do something many deemed impossible. The 34-year-old planned to be the first woman to swim the Catalina Channel, a 21-mile stretch of water between Catalina Island and the California coast. That day, the weather was abysmal. The water was bitterly cold, and a dense fog inhibited visibility. Nevertheless, Florence swam for hours. Support boats carrying her mother and trainer followed closely behind. Rifles were fired repeatedly to scare away sharks that stalked below. From warm and cozy homes around the country, many people watched with interest as the event played out on television. After swimming nearly 16 hours, however, Florence was
Sample complete. Ready to continue?